Going on, family? It's your favorite Mufa. We back for another rendition of How's Your. I'm always gonna say How's Your Heart Doing with Mufa, but it ain't that. It's office hour with Mufa. I done had enough rendi. I done did this several times, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, coming through. Gotta see when they got the Jersey motherfucker on. I feel like I gotta be on here fresh every time I step, cause you know. A nigga love himself. You know what I'm saying? How's your heart doing today, man? You want to just check in with y'all real quick? Yeah, it's the 13th episode, dog, or 12, 13, one of these. And I just been finding my stride, man. Getting in stride, realizing that, yeah, sometimes it ain't even always about knowing exactly what you're gonna do. Sometimes it's about showing up. As I touch on what it means to be conduit and using your body as a divine tool. It was literally like I haven't recorded since probably like last week. And it's been a heavy ass week, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. Heavy week. I'm actively looking at, finally starting up a new opportunity, employment opportunity. And that shit got my feelings all over the place because the wild shit is when I first graduated with my master's in 2015, I did my internship and my practicum at an inpatient rehab facility in Alabama. And the wild shit is, and I was a PRN, basically like as needed part time. Tell me why 10 years later, after about 6 months of sitting still, and hella job applications, hella interviews. Well, not hella, but several interviews. I'm looking at actually returning to and getting the same job, my first ever job out of grad school. It's a job I'm preparing to go take, a PRN counselor position. So if I can be radically and transparent, radically honest and transparent with y'all, it has been a process of discipline, a process of obedience, a process of me really killing my ego and telling that nigga, hey man, I know you interviewed for the CEO job, but right now you're gonna have to sit with and take this PRN situation. You know, and no bullshit. Like it is not easy to feel like you're going backwards. You know what I mean? Like especially professionally. And the kicker, y'all, is that they actually are paying less for the position now than they did 10 fucking years ago. And it wasn't enough 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, just, really want to come on and yeah, be seen, be witnessed, man. Let y'all know all is, all. Shit is happening. I ain't gonna hit y'all with no fake positivity. I know a lot of us are dealing with just uncertainty in the air, man. Niggas getting fired left and right. They cutting jobs. They getting away with whole departments. Um, a lot of us having to really sit still. I've been talking a lot about that on the last couple of episodes about stillness and what it mean to be still. So tonight, as I was coming on here, I really didn't know what to say. I really know what to talk about. I said it's gonna be a freestyle. It's gonna be a little journal entry, a little vlog, and I'm gonna come on here and let spirit do what it do. And as soon as I started kind of typing in and logging in, I think the first thing that came to me was like, who's calling my phone right now? Um, for all of the work that I have been trying to focus on spiritually, um, and I talk about spirituality as this muscle memory that has to be developed. Spirituality really being, the vehicle through which you know God, know your higher power, get in tune with your spiritual core. In Ifa, African traditional religions, we always think of, we refer to a higher us, a higher self. In Christianity, you talk about the Holy Spirit. Or we talk about, For some folks, they talk about Christ consciousness, right? So the God in you, your higher self, your Ori, um, for me, it has been a journey of like, what in this season where I don't have the external anchors, like what are the anchors that I'm clinging on to every day? What are the things that's keeping me in my body, keeping me disciplined, keeping me focused? At a time where I'm not filling them with vices and unhealthy coping mechanisms. What have been the things that have been keeping me? And sometimes I sit still enough to look through my old journals, and I did some of that tonight. And it just sometimes amazes me at how, for one, I've been archiving like a motherfucker. Like I've been consistently journaling since about 2022, like every day type shit, or like every other day. Really every day, but like at least every other day. And to have a record of my growth, to have a record of, you know, the seasons where it's just really been me calling out, crying out, and archiving what's going on, being in touch with my spirit, my Ori, and really, yeah, trying to see who's calling. And when I say who's calling, is like who is, what energy am I, do I have access to? What energy is happening with me? What spiritual energy is happening with me? Is it that of, good fortune, good favor? Is it that of negative, evil, spirits and things that, hurt me? Or is it energy and spirits that, assist me, in the path of my destiny? And that's been a real thing, having to discern. Sometimes our egos get, so confident and full of themselves that we really be thinking we in the right. And I look at my journal entry, I'm like, bro, you was tripping. I just remember the seasons where, I'm focusing on the surface shit, but the root was spoiled. You know what I mean? Like the root had gotten so comfortable in things and coping, mechanisms and coping tools that just were not healthy. The root had gotten used to, you know, lying to myself at a core level and just saying, well, this is a lie that I just got to keep, and can't nobody really know about this stuff here as long as I manage it, right? That's what we do in active addiction for real. It's like, okay, I'm a lie to myself over here as long as it don't come to the surface. But we all know as healers, as therapists, it's done in the dark. Always finds its way to the light, and for a while I had been, coping negatively as it related to sex, as it related to substances, um, you know, and I ain't talking about no hard drug. I'm just talking about like, um, the tree. I'm talking about the herb. I'm talking about, certain aspects of pleasure that just weren't positively benefiting me. For those of y'all who, I'll talk about it at some point in probably another episode, but when you get to a space, in your sexual life where you're moving into the kink space and the BDSM space, and you identify as a dom and dominant. It's one thing to put these labels on yourself due to like a physical sexual prowess. It's another thing to actually like embody the discipline to dom yourself, right? So what does it mean? We talk about dominance and submissive. I got a old live on here. I might put it in the link in the caption so y'all can check it out. But what it means to be a dominant sexually, somebody who provides the structure and provides, the really the rules, sets. I don't say they create the rules, but they negotiate with their partner, their submissive, around what it means to give pleasure, right? Or to give pain, or to give, or to provide whatever is negotiated in the scene with their partner. And for me, it has been like a constant, reflection for like, okay, for all the ways in which I know when I'm performing and doing that masculine shit, I be showing up as a dominant because I be having all this external structure. But like, if I can be honest with myself, it's like I wasn't down in myself the way that I should have for these past few years. Like I was showing up in relationships, and because I'm a dynamic nigga, it's like yeah, I can put on, I can do, I can I can talk the talk, and I can halfway walk the walk. But when I'm by myself, it's like, man, my discipline wasn't where it's needed to be for me to sustain any of the pleasure, you know. Had some pleasurable moments, some pleasurable times, some good times with some partners, but couldn't really sustain that shit because my internal devices and my internal structure really wasn't hitting on shit. It wasn't where it was supposed to be. So, when I think about where I am now, just in a place where I done had to be, I done been sat the fuck down for the past few months, is really having me, you know, um, yeah, just reminisce and really meditate and sit with right now in this moment where my discipline for myself is on display. It's like, damn, who is calling my phone, right? There were periods in the past year where I truly, you couldn't have told me I wasn't winning. You couldn't have told me I wasn't walking in favor because there were successes, material successes that were happening, tangible things that was coming my way, contracts, job opportunities, clientele, like I said, pleasure, sexual pleasure. And for me, even going to, and it's wild, man, even when I think about the divination and going to my, to E5 and getting readings, there was very little that said that I was out of the order of, what I'm saying, my destiny, right? And so it really went back to now in hindsight, I can look back to it and be like, yeah, it wasn't telling you was fucked up, but you knew you was fucked up in certain ways. It wasn't telling you was tripping overtly, but you knew and the things that needed to be tightened up. And at a point where daily, it's kind of like you be laying those bricks. It's like, nah, it's like I'll let this slide today, or I'll lean into this today, right? Not too much, and I'll do the same thing tomorrow. And you keep stacking days of the bullshit. It's like, yeah, you got all this great shit over here, but the bullshit, the bullshit just keep getting bigger and bigger. So as you realize, it's like, yeah, you thinking your greatness is, surpassing the bullshit. And before you know it, the bullshit, it's a mountain of fuck shit that's towering over anything positive that you can put out there, right? And so when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, damn, like I really had to get to a place to where I was super honest with myself about the bullshit that I was stacking every day. It's like you let one thing down or let one thing go, or be like, all right, well, I'm gonna get this job and I'm gonna budget my money and I'm gonna, make sure I'm paying my child support on time and do all these different things. When in reality, it's like it's the small shit. It's like, are you drinking water? Or, are you ensuring that you don't step out of of the commitments that you made in relationship and partnership? Are you making sure that like you're really balancing your internal work? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you honoring the things that you need in this season? Right? Can you say no to yourself? Can you say no to your partners? Um, are you engaging in conflict that is not going to end well in seasons that you already had and you've already been there, done that? Are you still engaging with that same demon, with that same energy? So in hindsight, it's like, damn, like I can really realize that at the time I was going so fast and I was just trying to show up every day to maintain the good that I really wasn't taking inventory of how the bullshit was stacking. You know what I'm saying? Like it was stacking, it was stacking. It was like I had put myself in harm's way in a lot of like, pervasive ad ways, not realizing like, this might not be the safest relationship dynamic. This might not be the safest professional dynamic. I might need to switch some things up around with my responsibilities so I can sustain this job, right? Just a lot of things that in hindsight I see that was like, damn, man, I didn't give myself the chance to succeed for me, for myself, you know? So when I say who's calling your phone, it's really a question of like, you know, we talk in the spirit about calling on those elevated ancestors, those elevated spirits, to assist you, the ones that mean, you know, you nothing but good, that have your interest at heart, your best interest at heart. But sometimes, you calling on spirit, and sometimes it ain't always those spirits that's answering, right? You calling on your ancestors, and you think it's somebody that love and care about you, when in reality, their pain surpasses whatever love you can identify with, right? So, I'm thinking about this now and just being able to be mindful of the fact that, like, it's okay sometimes to press the reset button as it relates to your spirituality, as it relates to how you do things, because as you grow, as you get better, as you edify yourself, you gonna realize, like, yeah, you might have had the wrong people calling your phone. You might have had the wrong, and you might have been picking up for shit that looked like blessings, and it wasn't. It really was curses. It was you taking two steps back, versus one step forward. And so it's something to think about, especially in a time like now where I'm still enough to really see myself. Like, I ain't on go, you know. I call this the birthing room because, like, this is where I made my daughter. So, um, anytime I come back to this room or this space, it's a time of deep, retrospection, um, deep introspection, deep revelation. I'm really always looking at myself and always having to see who I am right now, what has died, what is being birthed. Um, am I in a space to really hold the blessing and sustain it? We talk about this shit a lot. If God were to grant you the desires of your heart right now, do you even have the tools to carry it and sustain it and take care of it and be a good steward? And I think about that right now. It's like, I declare that I will be a good steward of the blessings that I have coming to me, that are, um, a part of my destiny. And a lot of this shit is telling yourself no. It's telling yourself to chill, bro. It's telling yourself, hey man, say man, um, it's not that pleasure isn't good, but what does it mean to diversify your pleasure palette? Can you diversify your pleasure palette and actually lean into some things that's gonna give you life and not kill you slowly? I call that shit pretty poison. We like some pretty poison. Even just sitting here like I'm drinking water, and I think about, like, my shit is juice. I love some juice. I ain't gonna drink no soda. I ain't gonna drink alcohol like that. But I'm gonna go load up on some Arizonas. I'm gonna go load up on some juice, and that sugar just, it don't be good for me. So small things, little things that you can tighten up on. So when the blessing come in the door, your first response ain't to make up for the valley seasons, right? My client and financial advisor was telling me, like, when you've been in a deficit for so long and you get money, your natural reaction and response is to feel like you got to make up for that time that you didn't have, right? So it's like, instead of preparing, as an entrepreneur for the ebbs and the flows, the valleys, the peak seasons, like, once we get in that peak season, a lot of times we trying to make up for the valley season, and we're not actually taking care of the things we need to put away and to save, because another valley season coming, right? It ain't gonna always be the peak financially, right? Especially if you work for yourself. So it's something to sit with for me in this season, where I know, like, hey, it's a valley season, and I can't even say it's a valley season, man. Spiritually, it's a peak season because I'm tightened up. You see what I'm saying? Even just the perspective around what's going on, and what's happening in your life at times, that's really the growth, the change. You can see the seasons that you don't have external gain as something, but are you archiving what the spiritual gain look like? You know what I'm saying? Your spirit man over there getting right in the gym, you know what I'm saying? Tightening up, praying, fasting, right? You know what I'm saying? Just getting good. Whole time on the surface, it look like you ain't you down and out. You on your dick. Right? So at what point can you slow down enough to realize, like, maybe this isn't the valley season? Maybe this is for me. Maybe this is the peak. Because everything in my readings have been saying, like, nah, you about to be the star, fool. Like, you this season, specifically January, February, March, Now we in April. It's like, yeah, it spoke to me, literally getting to become and getting into my own and like really building that star. So yeah, man, I want to say in this moment, thank you to Spirit for helping me externalize and express the perspective shift around my situation and what's happening right now. Because the version of me that knows my discipline and sees him coming back, that can say no to myself, that can be secure, that can clean up my space, that can like move, what I'm saying, be sad and cry, but not walk around here in like full on depression mode, what I'm saying, depressive episodes. Like can acknowledge the pain, but and use and transmute the pain into productivity for myself, right? For my body, for my mind, for my soul, for my spirit. That shit is really a spiritual peak. It's a mountaintop, honestly. Like I really got a whole journal over there. That guy, I'm talking about bad boy pages backwards and forwards, like full. You feel what I'm saying? Like so, I know in those seasons where I'm on go, and I got the jobs and the contracts, and I'm in daddy mode, and it's like I know as I get back to the action, I have to integrate and balance this stillness for real. I gotta make time for this stillness and really respect the fact that this season has not been a loss. This season has not been a L. It ain't been me fucking up. It's been spirit wanting to really fine tune some shit. I done also planted some hella seeds during this time too. I done did some dope shit with my curriculum, with my work too, just slowing down. So yeah, man. What looks like a loss and a failure, and it's really just spirit calling your phone, like, hey, man, we need you to have you right now. You dig what I'm saying? A lot of us don't be having nothing, and we be tweaking because it don't feel like we up. But you ain't gonna be this still for long, dog. So while you this still, take advantage of this time to really remember and share and archive and sit with, what's going on, who calling your phone. Is it the good guys or is it the fun guys, the fun girls, the fun guys? Like everybody want to have external fun, but like when shit get hard, when you gotta sit still, when you gotta be a caretaker, when you gotta thug it out, like motherfuckers be fighting that shit out. And I always thought about it like I don't want like life is suffering, right? So I want to be able to create pleasure, but I want to do it from a grounded place to where when it's not the cameras and the action and you the life of the party and shit, I'm thankful and I'm happy. My plants is growing. I got food, I got safe space, I got nigga I can record on a laptop with a webcam. Feel what I'm saying? Like I speak to the season where I'm gonna have the whole setup and it's gonna be how I want to. But like man, I'm so grateful that I can do this. Like I'm still looking like it now. Don't get it twisted. It ain't might not be in HD, nigga, but you know what I'm saying? Oh, FD, fine, nigga. Find this definition. You know what I'm saying? Like really thankful. So yeah, man, I'm just really hip to right now in this season who been calling my phone. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been calling my phone. My Ori been saying, man, come home, bro. Like we need you to get you back. You feel me? Like get you back. Get your discipline back. Get your capacity to say no back. Just don't give in when motherfuckers say they need your help. They want you for something. Like, yeah. Nigga, it's my time right now. It ain't being selfish. It's being self-full. Self-full. So that what we on, man. It's gonna be self-full. I appreciate y'all, man. It's been a week. And this time I just know this is, yeah, it's not the valley. Like I've been saying so much, this is the peak. This is the spiritual peak and it's only gonna get better from here because I'm reminding myself that it's about this shit. At the end of the day, the legacy, everything that I leave, everything that people sit with about me is gonna be rooted in these seasons as I'm documenting the archiving, like the growth and the process. The product, folk gonna see the product, but the product is me. So as I tighten up, as I get myself together, folk gonna see the product, man. So thank you. I'm thankful for this season. Thankful for this time, man. Shout out to my spiritual court for letting me come on and just channel and talk some good shit. So I see we can get some good clips out of this one. All right. Love y'all, man. Nobody told you today. This nigga love you. You feel what I'm saying? It's gonna be a great, great end of the week, man. I love y'all. Take care. Peace.